The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed by the Welcome to Her Brain's His Looks Real Estate and Lifestyle podcast. It's hosted by two of the smartest and most attractive realtors in the business, well, according to their mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the brains of the operation, Erika Portanova-Songer, and the looks, George E. O'Connell.
Technical difficulties hopefully fixed.
Hopefully fixed this week. We actually tested it, so it should be okay. We did sound horrible last week, so.
It was a bad USB hub, I think. Those who are watching, if the audio is clear, please let us know in the comment section. Anyways, welcome to episode 16, Her Brains, His Looks. I am George O'Connell.
Oh, Erika Portanova-Songer.
Did you forget again who you were?
Sometimes I always contemplate, should I include all my names? I'm like, you know what? I deserve to. I include all my names. So yeah, welcome to episode 16. We're going to focus on the town of Trumbull today, talking about real estate and lifestyle.
Yes, we are. We're back to Trumbull. We kind of looped around. We did, 8, 9 towns around in the first part, mostly pre-COVID, and now we're looping back, giving you the updates. We did Fairfield last week, part 2 Fairfield, and this will be part 2 Trumbull.
Yes, and we're back to our weekly podcast. We took a little forced break.
We're going to try
over
not
the summer.
to do them at dinner time, but this is what works with the office schedule right now, and quite honestly, our busy realtor schedules.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay. So, hi, George.
Hi, Erika.
What's going on? Oh, you know what?
What?
I forgot my Stump George question today. Usually my daughter and I, the day of, try to figure out things that'll stump George.
So you're unprepared is what I should understand.
Well, you know what's funny is all day, I knew I had this. I was ready for this. You know, I showered, washed hair and all.
And isn't that a part of our show prep?
But I totally forgot. I knew I was forgetting all day. I was like, what am I forgetting? Oh, it's okay. It'll come to me because I always know things that you don't know because I'm very smart.
Yeah.
The brains.
And
obviously.
I gave you an article. I thought you were going to hit me with it. The sloth.
Yeah, but I couldn't open it. And then it seemed inappropriate for our content. Didn't it?
Sloth?
I thought it was like, I read it as sloth sex, but it wasn't that.
There were some things in there that would probably consider inappropriate, but it's all things slothy.
Oh, well, I do love a good sloth. But you know what? I couldn't open it anyway for some reason, and then I got distracted. Okay, so let's move on.
So if you are listening, please let us know how our audio is sounding. We did test it a few times pre-going live on we have a test channel. So let us know, please. So going forward.
And of course, how we look. Okay, so moving on. We're going to jump right into the stats, right then, call our guest speaker.
Yes, we're going to call Kurt after, when we get to his slide. So it should be about Kurt, if you're listening, about 10, 15 minutes from now.
Okay, so we'd like to always give you an overview on Trumbull, or the town that we have focused on, and today, of course, is Trumbull. So we focus on single-family homes that have sold.
Your hometown.
And my hometown, where I live and grew up in. So we like to look at the percent change of between last year, 2019, and 2020 of this year, using the month of August, since that's our only month of completion to point. So we are seeing number of new listings. It has increased, but not that much from last year, this year, only by 4. So we saw a 6% change, 66 listings last year and 70 this year.
Yeah, for the month in total, it was only 6%. July was a little heavier, but we're giving you the most current stats.
And Trumbull market, the inventory there is particularly very low. So it's been an incredible. I mean, that's the temperature of all the markets right now. But Trumbull, especially, the inventory is so low that the buyer demand is just insane. It's pretty exciting, actually, but it's definitely
what is it? Just people don't move on in Trumbull, or?
No, I don't know. I mean, well, I don't know.
There's a lot of houses.
A lot of houses, and the Trumbull market, for some reason, the inventory is slow for whatever reason, or is the inventory just low because the relationship to the number of buyers? I don't know. But our number of inventory out there and the number of buyers by far is is an extreme measure here. So
Gotcha. But the next, as the numbers go, as we go down on the itemized, we get bigger numbers, pending
Right.
listings.
So basically everything's increased from last year. So we see our pending sales, which means sales or contract houses that are in contract, up 71%. Number of closed sales up 28, almost 29%. Days on market is less because they're selling quicker.
These are basically the houses that are coming through from June.
Yep.
Contracts.
June, July, August. Yeah. June, July, they would have had an offer and contracts in June, July, and then sold in August. That's correct. So average sale price up 18%. Inventory of homes for sale. We had 180 homes for sale last year in August. This year in August, 145. So that's less, about 19%. So that's my point about the inventory. And people like Trumbull. Every town has their features, right? So,
And they're pretty much getting asking price. It's 99.4% asking price
Right.
that came through in August.
right, they are. And they're,
So what they're listing it as is pretty much what they're getting in Trumbull.
Yep. So if you are in the position or have been thinking about selling your house, especially this would be the time to do it because you are pretty much guaranteed to sell it and or get the price you want, if not more. So
Now your Trumbull homes, because you're Miss Trumbull agent, what are they going for? They're going, you had a few that went above asking, didn't
yeah, so I had a house that I sold closed in June, and that closed at like 26,000 more than asking price. I just put a deal together. I think it's together with a client of mine. We put an offer in a house. We got it, but there were, I think, 25 offers on this property. I mean, and that's a Trumbull address, not disclosing more than that, but it's
closed.
nuts.
You can
No,
disclose
it's
it.
not closed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just put it together over the weekend. So point being is that it's just the market is nuts. And, but, you have to, it's about negotiation. It's about strategy. It's about keeping ahead, and it's about being quick about things too,
Did you like the colors I chose for our bar chart this week?
I did. I thought, yeah. I was going to go like an earthy orangey fire, but
yeah, I was going pastels, which was our go-to color.
yeah, but I think
So
like the
then
fall.
you changed it, so I went to green and blue,
Yeah, you know what? It's
just to tick you off.
yep, never good enough for George. Always a comment, but
So closed homes
Yep.
to date.
number of closed single family homes to date. So last year 372, this year 365. So we're only off by 7 units. Only 7 houses less have closed. But again, inventory is less too, so they're less to close. So moving on to the next one, we like to break it out by months. Months are really interesting. Real estate is a very market or seasonal market driven business. Typically, in a typical year, we have our very, very finite spring market, which begins roughly February 15th, March 1st, ends June 1st. Typically, our fall market, Labor Day to Thanksgiving. This year, that all went out the window. And with COVID hitting in March, we sort of stalled, and then spring market just kind of went into the summer, and we're still in it. We're still, still a ton of inventory selling and a lot of trading going out there. So I don't even know. We're going to go we're in our fall market. We're just didn't even have a lull here. So it's been interesting. And then July and August, of course, were a peak number of sales, which means if they close in July and August, that means they had offers accepted and pending, April, May.
And this chart, because if you look at June, it really shows you the homes. So the June closings would have came on, go back 2 months, say May.
Yep.
I'm sorry, April. So you can see where the COVID concerns really were high, as far as no open houses, people taking their homes temporarily off market, or buyers not willing to go out and look at homes. So the closings that are significantly down 45 compared to, I think that's 70.
Yep.
In June kind of reflects the height of the COVID concerns, I think.
Right. And then if you look at that 70 number, which is 70 houses sold in 2019 in June, that's indicative of what we consider a typical spring market, right? So if you close in June, back it out 2-3 months, that means you had offers accepted back in.
You would expect
March,
those
April.
numbers in a typical market to be pretty even.
Yeah.
Because of the COVID.
Right. You
But
get pushed
then
back a little bit.
Yeah, and then, the COVID released a little bit, depending on what your thoughts are on that. But it opened up this late spring.
And September is not over. Believe it or not, we have 2 physical more days in September. A lot of closings are end of the month. So you will see a lot of closings now on Wednesday. So that number of September 40 closings to date, I bet will double, not double, but I bet it'll go up.
Ease
Okay,
off.
whoa.
Gear down, big shifter.
I bet it'll go up by 10 or 20. So we'll see and let them know.
I say 10.
I say 15, whatever.
Okay.
Challenge you. I'll make you a bet dinner. Okay, average sale price went up 38,000. So average sale price for last year would have been roughly 404,000. This year was 442,000. So people are getting more for their money. Well, the sellers, it is, not the buyers.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost, I think it's 9 whatever percent it went up, but that's a pretty good significant increase. This one, I think, $11 million, almost $11 million increase in total volume year to date. So this was refreshed this morning. So 11, that's
a lot, and that's still not over yet. So we still have more months.
That's 21, 22 more homes if you divide it by the average price sale of the house.
Yeah. I mean, our quarter's not over yet, so that will see the number get even higher. So, yeah, that's pretty. And again, that's because houses are selling for a lot more than they would have sold in what we consider more regular or moderate market. Just the fun stats: 2019 versus 2020. Average days on market back in 2019, 77. Average days on market this year, 70. We always say this every episode. We take that with a grain of salt because it really depends when people change the status in the MLS. So it's skewed, but I can reassure you that houses that are turnkey, that are priced well, that are attractive to today's buyer are getting offers in the first 1, 2, 3 days. So just understand that.
I mean, and did you do I was flipping through, so I might have spaced out there a little bit.
Okay.
But the showings per listing?
Nope, but you can do that.
Yeah. But the showings
if
per
you
listing.
like.
Well, I mean, you're getting, again, this is 3 more, it's showing you here 3.2 more showings per listing. In reality, again, that's not going through Showing Time, which is our online through MLS service. So you're probably getting a few that are phone calls, emails, or text messages to the listing agent. But, that's considerably. That's like 40-something% up.
Sometimes I tell my sellers if they're putting a house on the market, even in a regular market, in this market, of course, it's nuts. But I'm like, first weekend, for example, I said, go away, literally, or plan to be out of the house for the entire day of Saturday, 9 to 5, and also for Sunday, because you can anticipate those numbers of showings. I only say it for the convenience of the sellers too, just instead of having to go back and forth. So you have to, that is the
and with
normal
the weather being
expectation.
pretty darn good recently,
Yeah.
It's not a hard thing to do. It might be hard to find something indoor to do, but
That's true.
The weather so far has been cooperating pretty much on the weekends.
Thank goodness. All right, moving on. This just gives you an average overall. So right now in Trumbull, we have currently 53 single-family homes available for sale. Average.
And again, the higher end, homes are still on active. It seems with the average price at almost 600,000.
Yep. And then currently we have 86 homes that have show that there's what they call show status. There's an accepted and signed offer, and those are an average asking price of $487,000. 61 homes that are currently in contracts, and those are averaging ask price of $469,000, and closed 106 homes since August 1st, and those at that average sale price of the closed homes $478,000.
So go back 2 slides to the amount. Well, actually a couple. One more. Sorry. And so we get 150 homes that are in show or deposit. So that number, which was one more back, I apologize.
No worries.
Is almost half of the a little under half, 40% of the inventory is either in show status or deposit.
Yep.
So in the next 2 months,
You'll see more closings, more
got
trades.
150 homes going to be traded in Trumbull.
And every time a house trades and that sale is a positive number, that only makes the house that you're in, that you're considering selling, it gives you more of a platform to launch your house at a higher sale price or higher asking price. So the more houses that sell around you, that higher prices helps your house's value. So again, for future planning.
So those that are coming through the pipeline is going to be significant. 106 through August 1st till now.
Yep.
150 in the next 45 days.
It's busy out there.
It's going to be crazy.
Busy. All right.
So the next one, we have a
guest speaker.
I have to get on the telephone so you can speak a little bit while I do that.
Oh, great. So this is my friend, Kurt Wiegand, his lovely wife, Ashley. And anyway, we're good friends. And he started this new job with this new company, and I'll bring it to a slide, called Filta. The company's called Filta. And this particular branch where I thought was relevant to real estate is called FiltaShield. And this is where I thought this would apply to residential single-family homes.
Hey, Kurt, you there?
Hey, I'm here. Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you,
Hey, Kurt.
How are you? Hi, Erika. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, thanks for coming on.
So Erika knows a little bit more about FiltaShield, but I kind of dissected your website today and watched some corporate videos. It's quite an interesting thing that you got involved in. You've always been kind of on the edge of technology here. Your new technology is incredible. One of like your camera systems that you'll talk about soon is at my doctor's office at Yale. Went to the heart doctor today in Fairfield.
Really?
And the temperature scanner at Yale, the heart specialist in Fairfield had that technology that was on your website.
Yeah, that's a really incredible product that they've got. And we've had some franchise owners throughout the country who sold those to universities, and they're putting them in front of their dining halls and the entrances to their dorms and classrooms.
And these
are scanning 30 people a second, and it's really giving people a nice bit of safety going in.
I saw that 30, the one I had, there's 2 units. One does one every 2-3 seconds. And I saw the bigger one at the casino. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the way to think about it is, imagine if you were the guy who had to be the first line of defense protecting the elevators, and that gentleman or lady isn't probably making a whole lot of money standing there, and they're really forced to decide who gets to come in and who doesn't. And once they take that temperature, if that person's got 100-something degree temperature, now they've been exposed.
Yeah.
So this camera can make that determination beforehand and show a picture directly to the person who's monitoring the elevators and decide if they can enter the building or not. And it's one-time fee. You're not paying the person standing at the door monitoring that door 24 hours a day. You're paying, the price for the camera, and then going on from there.
So why don't you go bring us through some of your technologies, your monitoring, your protecting,
And Kurt, real quick, before you start, Kurt, just so you know, up on screen I have I don't know if you have it in front of you, just one screenshot of the FiltaShield part of Filta, and where I thought it was particularly applicable to us, in terms of houses. But understand that's just one part of your world. I know that. So I just want to let you know what's on my screen, and as well as, of course, your contact information. So we'll let you take it from here.
Great. Yeah, so Filta started out as a fryer management company, and then we go into restaurants and clean out their fryers and try to extend the life of their oil. Obviously, when the coronavirus hit and restaurants were forced to shut down and we lost a lot of our corporate dining, Filta was forced to retool their business and figure out another way, like how can we help these people that we've been servicing with the fryers. So they partnered up with some companies who make biocides and viricides, and sort of went to the franchise owners and said, this is what we're going to do for the restaurants, for the schools, for the hospitals in the meantime until they're able to get up and running so that the franchise owners can continue doing business. So the first line of defense that we're using is Sanitize. And the Sanitize is an EPA registered disinfectant. It's applied with an electrostatic spraying machine, which is really cool. It's on a backpack.
It's kind of like you'd imagine it's kind of like a fogger in a sense.
Yeah, it comes out of, the electrostatic spraying machine comes out with a charge on it so that it's able to wrap what you're spraying. So if you picture like you're spraying an apple from one side, if you were just spraying it, you'd only get the front side of the apple. But this electrostatic spraying machine sprays all around it, so it actually wraps it. This allows us to go into a restaurant, say, and spray the chairs without having to walk around the entire chair or around the entire table. You can spray it head on, and it'll wrap the entire area.
And it gives a certain amount of protection time, right?
Right. So it's got a 1 minute kill time, which is really sort of as fast as it gets. Nobody on the EPA list is anything under a minute. Most of them are 2 to 3 minutes. The key here is that it dries very quickly. So we can get into a restaurant that's 3,000 or 4,000 square feet or any space. We can spray that area in 35 or 45 minutes. And then by the time we reach the back of the house, the front is clean and dry and ready for opening.
That's huge because that's when Kurt and I had met together, a week ago. And I had asked you that question. I was surprised to hear that that did not take long at all. I mean, 30, 40 minutes to get a house done of like that size, 3,000 square feet. I mean, that's because people in this area, we want to get things done and we want it done quickly and as if you weren't there, in and out.
Exactly. And it's like we were never there. I mean, there's very little sense. I think I described it as it's sort of like when you're dyeing Easter eggs, and it's not
right.
There's very little sense that you had half an hour after we were there, you'd never know we were there.
Yeah. And that's great.
Except that you felt much better about being in the same.
And, compared to a traditional Clorox wipe, it's, you're wiping the table surface versus, the edges, possibly the legs, the chair, it's an incredible.
Sure. I mean, we both cleaned our own homes and our own tables. I mean, think about how long it takes to wipe 4 legs on the table and the top and bottom of it.
I've watched
forever.
I've watched many a restaurant.
Right.
Many a restaurant barstool legs, and it's no fun.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, no fun. But this comes out it dries very quickly because it comes out in a very fine. We call it microns. Right? We can spray from 5 to 100 microns, and you can spray it heavily or very thin. So that's what allows it to dry quickly.
Now that is the sanitization part of the FiltaShield. You also have the preventative.
So we also have the Protect. Right, the Protect is a 30-day protection. EPA registered 30-day protection, and this is really cool because it doesn't use chemical. It uses physics, right? And this is how it's shown on the website. So if you can picture it, it comes out. It's administered the same way with a electrostatic spraying machine.
Yep. And
then it lays down a covalent bond. Now, I don't, of course, look at the science part of this, but the covalent bond, and it bonds to any surface that it's on, and it lays down a pin cushion, a microscopic pin cushion, that any enveloped diseases or bacteria that fall on it are destroyed instantly. So this pin cushion pops the disease, and then it's gone. That's it.
I mean, that's the best way to think about it. We've all seen the coronavirus animations, the red, ugly amoeba-looking bubble. So the pin cushion, it's a great analogy because you're popping that, coronavirus bubble if you want.
Yeah, and when Eureka and I met, I mentioned that this kills fungi, bacteria. We've got clients who own gyms that are using it on their shower floors to keep mold and bacteria away. People are putting, and it protects against athlete's foot. Nobody's going to get athlete's foot if they go in there. And, we have other clients who are using it on their roofs to protect against mold and their fences. Huh. So it really is a great product. It's many, many uses. But the most relevant one for us is dealing with the situation that we're all living through now.
Now, are those two programs that you have, the Sanitize and the Protect, those are done by your employees, or is there some maintenance also?
Yep, we have trained technicians who go through and administer these. So they don the backpack and put on, these products are very safe. There's very little PPE. Of course, we wear a mask anywhere we go, just like everybody else does and should be.
Sure.
And protective goggles whenever you're dealing with something you want to protect your eyes. We're not coming in a hazmat suit or anything.
That wouldn't make anybody feel good to see that.
No,
that would be
you don't want to
bad sign.
It's scary. You don't want to think that the cure is worse than what you got. So
So I have a question. So Kurt, let's just say you wanted to come, like I had you come to my house, which clearly is furnished and lived in. I have I have pets and all that. Can you do, I know preferably it's a vacant home, but can you sanitize properly a house that is furnished and occupied?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would work great because I mean you've been sitting on that couch forever, you know, and it would be a nice cleaning for the couch on the fabric. The thing that we tell people is restaurants and office spaces is we want like a no paper policy. So if we're going to spray your desk, we don't want you to have your desk covered in paper because then we're sanitizing and disinfecting the paper.
Right.
You know, we've asked the restaurants, could you not set the table the night before? Just so we're, spraying the table. You guys are washing the dishes on your own. But we want to make sure we're getting the table and the chairs.
So you want the surfaces exposed, which makes sense.
Right. We want the places that people are touching. And if it's in a house that's already furnished, that's what people are touching. People are touching the chairs and people are touching the couch.
Right.
And that's fine.
Now,
in a house that you just moved into that's completely empty, that's your stuff is going in there. You're comfortable with your stuff. But you might not be comfortable with what the people who were living there previously may have left behind on a door handle or, the floor or the countertop.
Sure. Just to remind our viewers and our listeners, you can go to Filta.com to learn about Kurt's products, and then that'll give you the vast, things that he does, not only in this event, the sanitize, the protecting and the monitoring, which the third prong we'll get to in a second, Kurt, but other things he does for the service industry primarily, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and I thought what a great like potential closing gift idea, or something just gift offer as a service to our clients, George. When they're moving into a new house, before they move all their furnishings in, tell them to take an hour and have Kurt and his guys come in and
quick sanitize.
I mean, that's and then it really is all it's like moving into a brand new house, truly your own, which is
have a clean.
Yeah, a little peace of mind as you walk in. That you've gone the extra step and.
Yeah,
it's a little better than broom swept, and
I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Now, what areas do you do all of Connecticut, or what areas do you travel in?
Yep, we have. So as the franchises work, our territory is the entire state of Connecticut.
Okay.
We focus, as this is sort of new to us in the last 6 or 8 months. We're focusing mostly on Fairfield County because that's where myself and the franchise owner are located. But we service Friars as far away as Groton and New London, and even into the northeast part of the state.
Okay,
so
good.
we have that far reach. Like I said, right now we're concentrating on the local area, and then we'll branch out from there.
Excellent. So just quickly, Kurt, on your last prong is the monitoring. That's what we touched on about the cameras. Those are available for purchase through you?
They are. Yep.
And
they can get in contact with me, and we'll get a camera out to you and show you how to use it and set it up for you and everything.
Wait, I don't understand.
And the cameras really are a nice.
Can somebody explain to me what the cameras do?
Yeah, it's a nifty little system. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here. So anyway, it's like almost Kurt to tell me if I'm speaking wrong, but it's like an iPad with a camera on it, and a sensor on it. So you stare into the iPad. There's a little face that's an outline. You put your face in that outline, and it scans your temperature up to, I think, 30 inches away or so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Yeah. So it's sort of implies the the facial recognition, but it's more of like a heat sensor, temperature recognition.
Oh, and that's what you were saying, George, when you went to the doctor's today. That's what you walked into. And
yeah, they go stare at the iPad. There's a little bot, like a face outline. You put your face in there, and 97 point whatever.
Good. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's very
cool.
And
then they let you through, or you get denied at the door.
One or the other. It's like a bouncer of a bar. So basically,
virtual bouncer.
That'd be great for schools. I mean, I would think schools or any sort of child programs or camps or.
Right. Anything where you're having, where essentially a lot of people are walking in at once. Let's say, walking into the subway station or something.
Oh, geez,
And this thing, or an amusement park. This thing, the Cadillac version of this camera can 30 people at a time.
Right.
So
we don't want to know. We don't want to know the cost on that one. It's the individual one.
No, and you know what? And you'd be surprised if we talked about the pricing. I think you'd be surprised. It's not like a Cadillac.
No, we talked a little. We talked. I know we're not going to mention that now, but we talked a bit on pricing, Kurt, and it was really reasonable. I mean, it was great.
Right.
I mean, where I go and I help out a friend in need at a restaurant every night, but as soon as I walk in, they have to do the wrist or the temporal temperature, and I'll tell you right now, it's not working half the time.
Oh, really?
So this thing is at Yale,
not
New
working,
Haven.
and you're getting in close contact with the person who's got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And let's say you show up and you've got a fever. Well,
I personally know I don't. We have one at home, but the one that they use works half the time. This is set it and forget it kind of technology.
So,
exactly.
So, Kurt, if people want to reach out to you to have their homes, do a once-over sanitizing, I have on the slide, I had your cell phone of 859-4972. Is that the correct cell phone number?
Yep.
Okay, because I know you have two phones, so I have your personal one. So.
Yeah, that's right. You got the personal.
Yeah,
we won't give that one out.
I won't give that one out. But
no.
So
sure. Yeah, they could. If you go to the website, you can schedule a site assessment there, and they'll reach out to the local franchise owner, and if you're calling from Connecticut, then you'll get me, or you can call me directly at 203-859-4972. Or my email address is kurt.wiegand@gofilta.com. WIEGAND.
And we'll add your website to the slide before we send it out to the public. It's gofilta.com.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great.
All right, Kurt. Yeah. We appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was our first caller, right?
It worked well, I thought,
It worked
right?
out pretty well. So this
every time, George, I do podcasts, technology is always like like a relief that it worked, more like
I'm like, I think I hear him.
Oh, good Lord. All right, moving on. That was great. So, and he's a good guy, good friend of mine. So every town we do a Go-To-2. We have perhaps maybe done pure poetry before, but
Oh, yes, but the story
chose to do it
is
again.
awesome.
It is awesome.
Story.
And she changes her inventory all the time. So obviously seasonally she changes it, but Portia, who owns and runs it, Pure Poetry on Madison Avenue in Trumbull. They just have great things. And I usually call on my birthday order. I tell my husband what I want. I call ahead and order it, and then he just picks it up. So don't tell my daughter.
So where is it located, Erika?
Oh, Madison Ave, 4244 Madison Ave in Trumbull.
All right.
In Trumbull. It's the same complex as Romanacci's Sitting Duck.
What is this Romanacci's place you speak of?
The next restaurant that we are going to talk about, Romanacci's Pizza Bar, also in the same complex. It's great. It's all Italian. They're big on their charcuteries, cheeses and meat platters, and they're great. Yeah, they're really good.
I hear that's the only pizza in town to go to have.
It's
Romanacci's.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I heard it's really good. That's one place that you have to bring me because I've heard good things. I've been to Sitting Duck right next door, kind of between.
Yep.
Well, they're all three in one plaza, right?
Right. Yeah, they're all in the same place. Yep.
Same place on Madison Ave.
Yeah.
So we'll have to check it. Well, you've been to Romanacci's.
I'll take you to Romanacci's. I'll let you treat, and I'll take you. That sounds
all right.
That sounds delightful.
Perfect.
So that is our Go-To-2 restaurant. And of course, to remind you that not only do George and I do full-time real estate all over Connecticut, we also do property management. And here is our information. So if you need to help.
Property management, you just skipped over that like
it
was.
That's what we do.
It could be as simple as you're going out of the country for a week, 2 weeks, a month, going to be a snowbird down in Florida.
Yep.
Because that's coming up.
We can manage your houses, your dogs. Well, not dogs.
Not dogs. Whoa.
George will do dogs. I don't do dogs.
But we'll look after your house while you're gone. We'll go in. We can take care of it. So give us a call and we can talk about it.
We do all things real estate.
All things related to real estate.
Yep. So there's our information. So feel free to reach out to us. And if you need anything or just a chat, we like to have input as well. And that is it.
That is it for our podcast. We are realtors in Connecticut for William Pitt in Southport Harbor. My name is George E. O'Connell.
And I am Erika Portanova Songer, and we are here to
what?
Have fun. I don't know. We enjoy doing this, so hopefully you're enjoying it as well. So we'll see you next week. I think it's next Monday again, right?
Next Monday again, and we're gonna try not to do it maybe at dinner time a little later.
Time
we'll
TBD. Okay.
So guys, that is it for now. Thank you so much for listening or viewing. Let us know how the audio was this week. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Goodbye.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed by the podcast hosts and their guests are theirs solely. The information shared has been professionally sourced and disseminated through the resources provided by the sponsoring real estate brokerage and their real estate experiences.